So after a fantastic first season, we've got a number of issues to solve before the next one starts. While I do think our first team is great, we don't have a lot of depth, and promises made to improve our training facilities while signing some of those players may well be coming back to bite us very soon. On top of that, we're about to head into a new division where I'm not sure at all how we're going to measure up, as well as our first seasons entering the FA Cup and the FA Vars. So there's a lot of preparation to do, so let's just get into it. So to start off this episode, we'll get into the end of season review. See, the board are disappointed with the deal to sign Cameron Moncrief. We are paying over the odds for him, but he has also scored 80 goals, 11 with 11 assists and an 8.7 rating. I don't really understand how anyone can be disappointed in that transfer. What else have we got? Waldo is apparently paying over the odds. Brad Binns, delighted with. What's Brad Binns on 20 a week? Yeah, £20 a week. I suppose he is on a little bit less. Although Shona Waldo is also only on 25 and has massively outperformed Brad Binns this season, which makes sense. He's a winger. He's going to get a few more goals and assists, but I don't quite understand that. Yakubu was a decent signing. Rami, Sila Conde was not. Sean Myler was not. That's surprising. Finley Wood was not. Yeah, there's I'm not sure about this, if I'm honest. We've got the outs. They're content with pretty much all of it. That makes sense. Onto the season results. It was a superb season for Town. Cool. Well, I mean, I was going to go through some of this with you on this page, but I suppose we'll do it on a different one after we've done the rest of this. Moments to remember. 9-3 win, 5-0 win. That was the first game of the season, wasn't it? Yeah, that was definitely a moment to remember for me. And goal of the season, Kemp. Was that the year? Let me have a look at it. Can we go back that far? I think that was the long range one into the top corner. Yeah. This was the second banger that he scored for us. Yeah, where he just strikes it from there. Absolutely beautiful. Top corner. He didn't really produce too many of those in the end. I think he might have only finished with like 2 or 3 goals. Yeah, 2 goals in the season, which both of them were absolutely incredible. I suppose he's a centre-back, which makes them even more surprising. He was playing defensive mid for a fair chunk of it, but I obviously would have liked him to get involved a little bit more. But, we had our goal scorers. He did not need to take part in that. We made a massive £4 from merchandising sales. No wonder we're in the red. 2.34 from sponsorship, matchday commercial and retail, just raking in the big bucks there. So this is how we lined up. Yeah, this pretty much looks like the first team for us. Yeah, Tommy Barrell came in quite late. Yeah, 12 games, 12 starts, 16 sub appearances. But he was very reliable. I think a lot more reliable than a 6.83 rating, personally. We had 100 goals in between Shona Waldo and Cameron Moncrief. Fair enough, most of those are on Moncrief. But yeah, very happy with that. On to the accolades. Your hard work and effort paid on the pitch, and such a feat didn't go unrewarded at the end of season award ceremony. Cameron Moncrief, Fans Player of the Season, Young Player of the Season, top goal scorer, most assists Rami. It does make sense. Rami and Moncrief did have a lot of link-up play, but I definitely would have expected it to be more, Waldo or Alambi John. Actually, it was Alambi John, but Alambi John has left us at this point. Obviously, most man of the match appearances, 21 from Moncrief, highest average rating, most passes completed per 90 minutes, Nick Canina. So I've had quite a few offers in for Nick Canina, and I'm not letting him go if I can help it. Record breakers, yeah, pretty straightforward. Most assists, Dimitri Rami with 14. Most assists by a player in the season, Jane Alambi-John with 18. Obviously no longer on the team. Worst discipline, bottom Forshaw, 10 yellow cards. Youngest player, oldest player. We received a massive £458 transfer fee for Alambi-John. All looking as expected, pretty much. History in the making. There we go, we can see it here at least. Chelmsford Town finished on 115 points. Absolutely incredible. Only dropped 5 points all season. Nuneaton Griff, 98 points. You got to feel a bit sorry for him because I feel like in pretty much any other league in this tier that would have easily won the title. But not here. We've got the dynamic manager timeline for the first time. So we were hired, then we invested in potential with Tyler McGee. Invested in potential, yeah. It's just us signing a load of kids, quite frankly. Paul Yakubu was great. Boland didn't play much, obviously. Backup goalkeepers, it's hard for them. Jeremy Aguilar has gone. Actually, hasn't gone, which might surprise some of you, but we'll get into this after. But Forshaw was great. Has, I think, signed a contract with us now because he was on a youth contract before. Brad Binns, Rami, Kai Nicholson, Tommy Barrell. Tommy Barrell might be off because he is asking for his contract runs out at the end of the season, and I think he's asking for £50 a week. And I'd like to, but I just can't justify it, quite frankly. Got a record Midlands Football League Division 1 points haul, which we set a new one at 36, which doesn't really make sense. We finished with 3 times that. Just short of 3 times that, but no, over 3 times that. That's brilliant. We won the league here, and Moncrief 80 goals in a season set a new club record. So overall, that's you can't really argue with any of that. We can argue with some of these, I think, because a lot of these signings ended up being completely useless. But yeah, fantastic. End of season review. Initial budgets for next season. Wage budget 1.3 thousand. Transfer budget 24.3. That's completely fine. That's probably just because we knocked the scouting budget down again, like I mentioned. As far as the supporter profile update, we've got a lot more fair weather fans and a lot less core fans. It doesn't really make sense, but I suppose would fair weather fans come in more when you're doing well? Yeah, when you're impatient for success. It's not ideal, but the more fans, the better. Quite frankly, our social media following has not quite doubled, almost. I think 30-40% to it. That's a pretty good increase for us there, actually. 15 season ticket supporters. They expect attacking, direct, entertaining, and counter-attacking football. Do we need both of these on here? That seems a bit ridiculous. We have got the expectations for next season. End of next season, they want us to gain automatic promotion. I mean, that is the plan anyway, but it's a little nervy seeing that on there. So at this point, Sila Conde is looking like he's leaving. He's got a lot of offers in, and he's kicking off. He really wants to go to them, so we're just going to let him go. I have actually signed Tyler McGee to a new deal, which might surprise some of you beings, as I was trying to get rid of him for most of the season. He didn't play a whole lot for us, but he is only on £25 a week. We need a backup striker, and at the moment, he is our backup striker. I didn't want to let him and Sila Conde go. I know he is probably worse than Sila Conde, but it's negligible. I mean, Sila Conde's, he's got this big dip in the attacking, this big plus in the attacking side. But overall, they're pretty similar, I feel like. So I decided to just, if I could only keep one of them, I suppose we're keeping McGee. We can also see transfers out. So far, Jaden Alambijan has gone to North Ferriby. I was trying to push him out of the club a little bit, obviously because of his wages. We had quite a few offers in for him, but they were all for no money. And when I accepted the bid, the board were just like, no, we could get money for him, so he's not leaving. So it was a bit of a nightmare to try and get rid of him. He kept kicking off that, transfers weren't working. I ended up offering him out for, I think it was £300, and North Ferriby came in for him. So then whether the board kicked off and said, we want at least 550 for him, I think it was easier for them to then move up and say, yeah, okay, we'll pay the extra 250 for him, rather than clubs going from a free transfer up to 550. Then we also had Jack McConville leave. I wasn't too thrilled about this, but he had, when you get an offer in and it says the player is desperate to leave for this club and he will become unsettled, I just thought, well, we haven't really got a choice, then we'll let him go. Brig are actually, they're at the same tier as us. Let me just get to their league. They're at the same tier as us, and they've also just won their league. So it's going to be a perfectly sideways move for him. It's a shame, but I feel like he was actually not one of our best defenders by the end of it. He played a lot of games, 7.47 rating. Very reliable, but I feel like we could probably get someone as good, I'm hoping. If we're keeping him and he's going to ruin things in the dressing room, then I suppose we'd just have to let him go, won't we? He wasn't going to sign a new deal with us, so he just left a little bit earlier. We've also had Mike Cox has left us, who was our assistant manager. South Liverpool came in, for with a manager position, and he's always going to go for that. I suppose it's a bit annoying. On the plus side, actually, though, Mike Cox left us his assistant manager stats: people management 3, judging player ability 2, judging player potential 3. Those are the 3 stats that matter most for his assistant manager position. For those who don't know, we actually went out and signed John Francis on less money. Mike Cox was actually on 60 and he's on £55 a week. And he's people management 10, judging player ability 8, and judging player potential 13. So, as far as I'm concerned, I was a little bit annoyed when Mike Cox agreed to go, but this could be the best thing that's happened to our staff for a long time. We have also had quite a few offers in for Tommy Barrell and Nick Canina. I don't really want either of them to go, but Tommy Barrell's contract is running out at the end of the season. As I said, he does want he's already on quite a lot more than a lot of the players, and he wants a considerable pay rise on top of that. So I think it looks like he's going. I would quite like to keep him, but he's a 3.5 star compared to our team apparently. But I think most of that is in work rate and his physicals. I think we could get a player that could do as well, if not better. I'm hoping at least. I was actually looking at Ollie Murch, who I've got an offer in. He hasn't agreed to join us, but it's on £50 a week is the lowest I could get him, and I don't think that's going to really work out for us. If I compare him to Tommy Barrell, we look at an overview, they're similar. I think the fact that Ollie Murch is so much better in defending is probably a good thing, and he can play all the way along the back. So I am definitely considering it. I've delayed the transfer once. It's just a lot of money. When I'm looking at the finances for the club, we're down to 66,000 in debt now. I just don't know if I can manage it. The fact that now we've got budgets that aren't preset by the database, at least, and the board are still happy with us having a 1.2 thousand wage budget, makes me think we could probably manage this. I'm a little nervous about it. I think actually, hopefully next season we'll be in the FA Cup or FA Vars. Well, both actually. If we can make a run in either of those, I think we could probably make good headway in repairing our financial situation. But that's all dependent on matches, obviously. Things could go horribly wrong for us. And we've got a lot of preliminary rounds of the FA Cup before any teams that gate receipts could make a nice impact in, would arrive into the competition. So here we've got Ollie Murch. So I think I'm going to try and delay it again. Is this going to fall through? No, he's still happy to wait for another week or so. I feel like he might be a good option for us, but I'm just delaying pulling the trigger just purely because of the wages. I don't want to end up in another Jane Lambi-John situation where I spend the whole season regretting giving someone so much money. Yeah, so Sela Conde has agreed to leave to Eversham United. What league are they in? Well, I really don't like that we can't just click straight into a division here. Southern League Division 1 South, so you can actually, never mind me. Eversham, they've just hit they're in the playoff final actually for the Southern League Division 1. So that might, and they're already a division above us. So this might be a very good move for him, but I'm going to let him go. Nuneaton Griff have beaten Hinckley. Bilston have beaten Heath Hayes. That's exactly how you expected it to go. Quite frankly, Bilston and Nuneaton Griff have been a step above the other playoff hopefuls. There was throughout the season, there was a bit of rotation between a lot of clubs, at least for that last spot anyway. Heath Hayes pretty much consolidated their position late in the season, but we'll have to see who goes up out of Nuneaton and Bilston. I really hope that next season Nuneaton Griff don't come back to bite us if they do go up. We also had a youth intake coming in a couple of weeks ago, just to show you how that was. It showed it was elite youth intake, which is exactly what you want to see. But at this level, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. So we'll just have to see how they get on. I have signed all of them, and they all seem fine. Some of them might get a few sub appearances at the very least. But like I said, we'll just have to see how it goes. Finley Wood has actually signed a new contract with us. This is for a little bit less than he was on last year. But I think he was on £30 or £35 a week before this. We've got him down to 25. There is a yearly wage rise, but 10% of £25, have your extra £2.50 a week if that really means that much to you. We've got a couple of optional extensions for us. One optional extension. One of them, he's getting extended another year once this promotion finally goes through, I believe. as it stands, he's definitely one of the players we're looking to stick with. Got the player final here, and Bilston Town actually beat Nuneaton Griff in the final. That is such. This actually a bit of a piss take. There's the Nuneaton Griff 10 points above them, and Bilston were 10 points above the next one. It was closer between them than it was between us and Nuneaton Griff at the very least. But you've got to feel sorry for Nuneaton Griff spending another season in this league after scoring 125 goals this season, plus 65 goal difference. They absolutely wiped the floor with most leagues, but they just weren't quite good enough to beat us. And here comes the moment we've been dreading. Half the team are kicking off that we haven't improved the training facilities. You've got Paul Yakubu, Demetrius Rami, Oliver Kemp, Kai Nicholson, Nick Kanina. So looking at the options that we've got here, I don't think they're going to be happy either way. How long have these all got on their contracts? I'll go squad. So we've got, looking at it, got Kanina, Nicholson. I mean, everyone other than Myler and Moncrief is expiring at the end of next season. I might be cheeky and just say we'll get it done by the end of this season. I think if you click that one, he's happy. And yeah, he's got another year hoping that it will come through. So I think if we do that with all of them, it just means we probably have to replace all of them at the end of next season. I'm not thrilled about this decision, but they all seem to be taking it fine. Hey, don't worry, guys, we'll get it sorted. We'll get it sorted. It's not a problem. We've got Ollie Murch now. I feel like I've got to make a decision on this point if we sign him or not. £50 a week. I also have got an offer in for, is it Scott Metcalf? Yeah. And if we compare him to Murch, Scott Metcalf is just a really good player, realistically, all round. He is 35 years old, so I've probably only got 1 year in him. But looking at everything apart from his physicals, he would be incredible for us. He can only play one position, but he is looking at joining us on £20 a week. So the problem is, I sort of need him to agree to it before I turn down Ollie Murch. This might come back to bite me. I'm going to try and delay it, but I think it's going to fall through. Yeah, Murch's transfer cancelled. It's frustrating, but it's fine. I was trying to sign Carvel Brown, but he's basically said he doesn't want to talk to us. And we are also looking at Matt Ball, who's had a couple offers in. He is 30, so it's not going to be a long-term option. But looking at a lot of his positions here, looking at a lot of his stats here even, he's a sizable upgrade on most players. If we compare him to like Rami, for instance, yeah, Matt Ball is as good or better in pretty much everything apart from speed. So I'd quite like to make him part of the team if possible. I think I've made a massive mistake. I was looking to sign Peter Ludasi and completely forgot that he'd need a work permit to come and play for us. We've had to pay 20,000 fee to try and get him a work permit, and honestly, I don't think he's going to get accepted for it anyway. He's only 15. He's only 15. I didn't. I need to pay more attention to players' ages when I'm looking at them. Yeah, he's 15, £20 a week. I thought he'd be a really nice little, backup or, not a bad defensive option for us. I think I got blinded by his mentals, to be honest. Yeah, so that's Ladasi's work permit has been declined, and we still haven't been debited the money, but I'm not going to appeal it. I would love to make him part of the team, and at 15, he would have actually been a nice little one, maybe for the future. I think I put a couple of years on his contract as well, so that's annoying. I really hope that doesn't come back to bite us. On the plus side, Scott Metcalf's agreed to join. 35 years old, so like I said, we probably only got it for 1 season. But looking at him, he's incredible. I really do hope he doesn't now retire before the start of next season, because that would be awful. This might be a stupid thing to do, but I might accept him, because if he's not joining for 2 more years anyway, I'm going to accept it. That might be highly controversial, but when he joins in 2 years' time, I feel like we're not going to get a player signing for £20 a week at that point. Can I just ask a question? I was looking through the top players in our division currently, and I mean, Bilston Town have just been promoted, so they probably aren't going to be looking to sell anyway. But I looked at Joel Bojang. He's pretty good. I think he could definitely do a job for us at centre back. Just looked at his contract. £325 a week. How much money have Bilston Town got? They're only 31,000 in debt. That our entire first team is probably on about £325 a week. What is going on there? On a plus side, Matt Ball has agreed to join us. I think he could definitely add to a bit of midfield depth, especially it being as basically all of our midfield depth that we had has left the club. So bringing him in on a free transfer on relatively low wages is going to work for me. I have just extended Adam Cash's contract. He's definitely a backup right back for us. But also, if you look at dynamics, he's basically the only player that's not just other players. He's the most influential player we've got and is currently our captain. So while he's not going to be on the pitch too much, he is useful to have around the dressing room, and he has actually got me out of unhappy incidents with players recently. So I feel like it's not a bad decision to have him as a backup still. This is one that surprised me. I didn't think we'd actually get Reece Oliver. He's joining us from Wrexham, another centre midfielder. 10 passing, 10 technique, decent leadership, good work rate, aggression, really good physicals. I'm quite happy to have him on the team. He's got a few gaps in his game, but I feel like he is definitely going to do a job for us. If we just compare him to, I don't know, Brad Binns, for instance, Reece Oliver is basically better at everything and is coming in on £30 a week. So that's a really good signing for us. And while it's not a player signing exactly, we have actually swapped out our physio team a bit. We had one physio before that I've released who had 6 physiotherapy, and I've replaced him with one with 10, one with 11, and Adam Harding is still here with 6. He was actually going somewhere else, and I had another head physio lined up. Actually, I think it was Adam Brown that was lined up to replace him, but he turned down the offer. I might actually terminate his contract if we get someone else coming up who looks like he's going to be able to do a better job for us, because it's not costing us money to get rid of them because their contracts are about to expire anyway. In an unexpected twist, we've actually signed Tommy Barrell to a new contract as well. He was definitely going to be leaving and was refusing to discuss a contract with us, but he's taken one for the exact same money he was on before, and while he's still not brilliant and might now be our second choice left back, I was thinking Scott Metcalfe is probably going ahead of him. With Scott Metcalfe being 35, he's not going to have he's not going to be playing every single game. So I feel like having the two of them at the back will be very good for us. This could be absolutely incredible for us, debt-wise at the very least. It looks like we are looking to sell the club. Well, the chairman is looking to sell the club. San Joliffe is looking to step aside and looking for a new local investor. We'll have to see what comes of it. I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet, because obviously nothing could come of it, or they could just not put any extra money into the team to wipe the debt. But I'm really hoping something comes of this. On slight issue, we've got Nick Canina really wants to go to Concord Rangers. They're in the Vanarama National South, and they're looking to come in for him. I don't. They've just survived, but still, that's like a good 3 tiers up from where. 3 tiers? No, that's 4 tiers up from where we currently are. 3 tiers for where we'll be next season. I'm going to reject it, and when he kicks off, which I would imagine is about to happen. No, it hasn't happened. So that's No, it hasn't happened. So that's surprising. If he does kick off, I'll just sort of set a minimum price for him. If someone offers some money, we'll sort of have to take it at this point. Oh, just what I was worried about. We've just signed Scott Metcalfe as our left back. It's a good job I renewed Tommy Barrell's contract. Scott Metcalfe's going to retire at the end of the season. Drop down to a lower level of football come the end of the season. I mean, you're already in the 9th tier, mate. How low are you going to drop? Reconsider retirement. One more season out of you, mate. Come on, you can do it. You've literally just signed for a new club. Stop being such a prick about this. Oh no. Now Zealand's trying to pick my players off me. Taunton Town are coming in for Nick Canina as well. Taunton Town's also in the Vanarama National League. I mean, on one hand, this is very annoying. On the other hand, the fact that he's getting so many bids from divisions comfortably higher than us does give me a little bit of faith that this could be really good for us. I didn't realise he started his career at Birmingham City. That's quite cool. That's my team normally. But again, I think I'm going to try and reject them. And like I said, once he kicks off, try and get some money for him. Zealand, what are you doing, mate? He's also after Oliver Kemp now. If this was a network game, I'd be writing out a very angry DM to someone right now. Oh, things are picking up with the takeover. We've been placed under an embargo. That's really good as far as I'm concerned. Kind of unfair to lead supporters on at the time while also completely disrespected current manager Dan Gilpin. So we'll have to see how this goes. This could be interesting. And Scott Metcalfe has decided to retire. So actually, that was really quick. The consortium has completed the takeover. Delighted by the Woodthorpe. Who's this? Ricky Woodthorpe has successfully taken over the club. He's delighted with the deal and indicated he wants to make a difference for the fans at Pack Meadow. Saw off competition from a rival consortium led by Sam Felix in his successful quest to seize control of the club in what was a competitive takeover process. Do we have no further investment will be made at this stage? We've had the transfer embargo lifted. I mean, that was only the embargo was on for about almost exactly 24 hours, so it wasn't the end of the world. They are expecting us to gain promotion, but looking at the finances, they have actually wiped our debt out. Oh my god! So, I've not seen a white number here since about probably before the end of the first episode. We were probably already in debt. Income-wise, £95,000 worth of investment puts us a solid 22,000 in the white. That changes everything. We can really go for this now and try and get another promotion rather than just trying to like penny pinch here and there. So the season has finally ticked over, and it looks like our board are going to want a top half finish in the Midlands Football League Premier Division. That's higher than I was expecting them to request, but I think that's perfectly attainable. And on a very positive note, we are definitely entering both of the cups, which is all that I wanted right now. I mean, I wanted it mostly for financial reasons, but also, it will make a good video. How much can I actually increase this? No, that would be ridiculous. An extra £4,000 to promise an extra 4 rounds into the cup, that would be very stupid on our behalf. They're looking for us to go very deep in the Isuzu FA Vars as well, which that surprises me because I feel like the FA Vars, that's just a non-league competition in general, isn't it? That's teams. I know that is quite a low division. Like all these are very low teams. None of them are like national. None of them are in the conference or anything. So that does make sense. We should perform well there. Hopefully, we've also been invited to an under-18s league this season, so even more going on at the club. The fixture list has been announced. Looks like our first game of the season is up against Market Drayton, which is actually quite funny. I worked in Market Drayton for a little bit, but hopefully we could put on a good showing there. I feel like that will probably be towards the end of the next episode at this point. Oliver Kemp is getting a lot of interest in him from various clubs, and while I do really like having him in the team, I feel like he might end up leaving. As far as defensive mids go, I have looked to sign James Devine, who, while he's not as, let's get the comparison up, while he's not as defensive as Oliver Kemp, he is definitely a much better all-round player, and I feel like he might be able to do a very good job for us. Looking at the attributes, James Devine is better at almost everything, other than tackling and heading, where Kemp had him beaten. So I'm trying to delay this transfer or all of these transfer offers as long as possible so I can get an outcome on Devine's bid, because we've still got Sean Myler and James Devine then who can play defensive mid, and I feel like they'd both be better than Kemp for us. We have signed quite a few centre mids so far to add a bit of depth, but I feel like Brad Binns might be one that ends up being on the chopping block as a result of that. I have really enjoyed him in the team. He has such a good link-up play with Moncrief, but with Reece Oliver and Matt Ball both coming in, I feel like both of them could end up being starters ahead of him, so he would be our fourth choice. But if he's happy to stay on, I will quite happily keep him for another season as a rotation option. And it looks like Devine has decided to go to Rushden and Diamonds, which you can't really fault him. They are, at least historically, a much bigger team than us. I'm not sure Southern League Premier Central, is that the same level as us? No, they are in a higher division than us. We're obviously down in the County League still here. So you can, I can fully understand why he's gone there. He did seem like he was a bit better than us. So it looks like Oliver Kemp is probably going to be staying here for another season. A lot of clubs are off to Rami as well, but he ain't going anywhere unless he starts kicking off, and he doesn't seem like he's going to be. It is player release day in England, and while I'll be honest. I'm going to be realistic about my chances. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to sign Fred. I'll see. No, okay. It's worth a shot. Maybe even. Why do I pick the one guy with a name that I definitely cannot pronounce? Ogben. No, okay. I didn't think they would have much chance, but we should have a wide range of players available to us at this point. Some of them have aged a little bit too much for good clubs, but we'll see what we can do. On that note, we have actually put a few offers in for wingers and strikers because I was looking at my squad like, you know what, I'm pretty comfortable with our depth. Oh, I mean, Charlie Waldo shouldn't really even be on that list because he shouldn't really be playing up front. He shouldn't have to play up front. He can at least. And, you know, wingers, we are definitely very light. We've got our first choice option sorted, but that's about it. So we've got bids in for Denai Roule. I'm going to say that is pronounced. Can play either side. He's very, very good physicals for what we're after. You know, he's more than good enough. 9 crossing, 10 dribbling, 8 finishing. It should be fine. He's not got some of the greatest stats, but as a potential backup, maybe he's more than good enough. Dan Gifford can play right wing and up front, 12 finishing, decent physicals. Again, he's not going to set the league on fire, you wouldn't have thought. If I compare him to, like, if I'm thinking about him in a forward position, he's actually, technically, he's actually almost better than Kevin Moncrief. You know, he's got a few things he's lacking, but he's got better vision, better mentals. This could be a very good signing. And looking at the two of them, the signing, Danny Rule on £35 a week, Dan Gifford on £20 a week. We'll have to see what happens because these could be two very good additions to our squad. Big money sponsorship coming in. New sponsorship with a local company. The deal's set to be worth £55 a year over 2 years. That's over £1 a week. So we failed in our attempt to sign Dan Gifford, which is a bit of a kick in the teeth, but on to the next one. But on the plus side, Danae Rowley has decided to join us. I think it's a good depth option for us at the very least. So as we've had a few issues getting winger backups, I did put a bid in for Romain Esse. Not really expecting to join because he had a couple of clubs in for him. And he was apparently more interested in Coventry Sphinx, but decided to turn them down to come to us. So I'm not going to complain about that. He's pretty good. He's like it. I think he looks worse than he is because he's not really got any blue stats. But you know, 9 crossing, 11 dribbling, 10 finishing, 8 first touch, technique, work rate, flair, leadership. He's not the fastest, but it's more of an all-round winger rather than just a pace merchant. He can definitely be a good backup for us, and we'll probably get plenty of first-team opportunities this season. Speaking of pace merchants, we've got Jack Wilson joining the club. He's not on a particularly high wage. 6 crossing isn't brilliant, 9 dribbling, but he is very fast. And I feel like as maybe an impact sub or something, he's just a good depth option basically. So I can't see that being a bad bit of business. I mean, I know it's only a friendly, but in our first friendly in the pre-season, Kmart Moncrief comes up with 6 goals. Just as I actually was looking at this Jack Greaves as potentially either some competition or maybe, I don't want to say a replacement because I don't really want to get rid of Moncrief. But when I compared the two, he is sort of better than Moncrief in just about everything other than, you know, Moncrief's slightly faster. But yeah, he'd got a contract agreed and then Eastbourne Town came in, asked for him on a trial, and he just instantly went there. So that's a little annoying, but we'll have to see how that pans out. But Moncrief definitely took that personally and decided to make a point. This is kind of nuts, actually. We've signed a new scout, Gillam here. We've signed him a new scout, only £30 a week, which is a lot lower than any other scout we've had. But when you look at his stats, what is going on here? That he's willing to come down to us on a part-time contract on £30 a week. He could honestly be a scout in the Premiership. This just doesn't make sense. It's just so nice that I'm going to have a scout that I can actually trust their input on things. Because obviously before, like I think, did we have? Oh no, we got rid of our scout. The one scout that we did have, I think he had 2 on each of judging player ability and potential. So the fact that we've binned him off, and I think he might have been on like £55, £60 a week, and got someone who's just absolutely miles better and cheaper. It just doesn't make sense. But this might be the most proud I have been of a bit of business on this save so far. So a big day for Chelmsford Town, actually. The Emirates FA Cup extra preliminary round draw is made today. We're not going to sit here and go through all 416 teams that are going to get drawn into this. Let's just draw all teams. We're up against Gresley, who are in the Northern Premier League Division 1 Midlands. They're actually, I think, a division above us, because I remember Anstey won their league last season. I don't remember who went to Anstey. But yeah, so this might be a tough game for us. Just to have a look actually at who's their key player? Oh, he's very good at everything other than technical things. 6 finishing as your key player striker isn't brilliant, but I mean, looking at these mentals and physical stats, that's pretty impressive. So yeah, this could be a tough game, I suppose. Another friendly demolition from Chelmsford Town here, 9-0 against Shawbury United. Just fantastic all round. The only problem, and it could be a big problem for us, is Shiloh Waldo is out for potentially 4 to 5 months, it looks like, with a broken foot. It's not what I needed right before the season starts, but I suppose we're just going to send him to a specialist and hope for the best. Bit of bad news there. One more backup striker coming in. We've got Devontae Morton. Now, he's not brilliant at finishing, but he's 6'4", good obviously jumping reach, pretty strong, not terrible heading. So I just feel like, if we need to switch up our strategy a little bit, he's not a bad option to come on, bring on as a target man, see if we can get a few flick-ons for our wingers. I don't think he's going to be playing too much in a first team capacity, at least. He's signed as a fringe player, and I feel like that's where he'll be. But it does give us an extra dimension in attack, I would say. We've also got Josh Barrett coming in. It says he's a fullback. He's actually a centre-back. It's more just for a bit of defensive depth, to be honest, because looking at our squad, we are pretty stacked in most positions. But centre-backs, if we get an injury, like at the moment, if Kemp has to play defensive mid because Myler gets injured or something, then we are just left with 2 centre-backs. And, we've already got Kanina suspended, and that sort of exposes that we are having problems at centre-back. So he's not the best signing, but I think he's completely fine. 9 tackling, 7 marking, 7 heading. He's not terrible. He'll get some games in. We'll have to see how he does. So I think we're going to leave that episode here. Chelmsford Town's first ever appearance in the FA Cup is going to be today. We're going to save that for the next episode and probably do that match and our first league match in our next episode, which is a very short amount of time in game for me, considering I have spent the last 8 hours going through the off-season, so trying to sign players. So yeah, definitely a little bit of a break before that one. But yeah, either way, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, maybe leave a like or a comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next game for what will hopefully be the start of a very long cup run. Wembley Stadium, here we come.